you're watching the program Global Talk. Business partnership between Kazakhstan and Canada moves to a new level, and the locomotive of development of bilateral relations has become the Kazakh Canadian Business Council established in Astana. It was initiated by the Chamber of Commerce of Kazakhstan and the Canadian Business Association in Russia in Eurasia with support of the National Chamber of Entrepreneurs, Atemekin.
Today, new conditions of cooperation in the new global economic crisis. Therefore, we must seek new forms of cooperation, which will give an additional impetus to this cooperation. We consider a completely different shape, and so one of the key forms, which will contribute to expansion of Kazakh-Canadian cooperation, is just the creation of the Kazakh-Canadian Business Council. Because there will be companies that are already working in Kazakhstan and in Canadian market, which intend to work, that are looking to ensure that it is necessary to operate in these markets. They see the so-called success stories of the Kazakh-Canadian cooperation. This is a very good example. And so based on the fact that the heads of major uranium companies from both countries are co-chairs of the council, they are the engine of our cooperation. I think that the creation of this council does give a great momentum. You look at the audience, two co-chairs said that they did not expect the success, they did not expect such success, to see how many people today gathered at this meeting, and this is only the beginning.
Два сопредседателя сказали, они ожидали успеха, они не ожидали такого успеха, сколько собралось сегодня людей на этом заседании. А это только самое начало.
So we have to wait and see what occurs, but what I expect is an opportunity to talk about our business and to explore business opportunities in Kazakhstan. We see opportunities for growth, and so by having events where we have both Canadian and Kazakh businesses together with government participation, we perhaps get a better understanding, and we're able to take forward new projects and to further grow agriculture in Kazakhstan, and I think there will be some exchanges coming back to Canada that can be of benefit. But it's really to get the communication going and have both sides understand what the rules are and the advantages and how to best set up the operation. And so by pooling your resources, you can usually end up with a better result.
Delighted to be here for the opening of the Kazakhstan Canada Business Council. It's the first meeting of the council, and we see great promise for it to develop our bilateral commercial relations. Having a council like this gives us another platform. And part of my goal as ambassador is to build a sustainable, strong partnership. Government-to-government relations are important, and they've always been very strong. But we need to build cooperation from all segments of society. And while there are business contacts, there hasn't been a formal forum for business to play a role in providing advice, in bringing people together, and the council does that.
The level of interaction between Kazakhstan and Canada is quite high. The economic cooperation is a key area of bilateral relations. In terms of imports and investments, Kazakhstan is the largest economic partner of Canada in the Central Asian region. At the same time, Canada is the top 10 largest trading partners in the leading investors to Kazakhstan.
According to the Ministry for Investment and Development of Kazakhstan, the volume of bilateral trade in 2012 to 2014 amounted to more than $7 billion. Kazakhstan is included in a list of priority countries in the Global Plan of Action in Foreign Markets, adopted by the federal government of Canada in 2013. Protocols on the peaceful uses of atomic energy were signed between the countries. The uranium industry confidently holds one of the leading positions in bilateral cooperation.
Сегодняшнее мероприятие, оно интересно еще и тем, что собственно говоря, сопредседатели...
Today's event is interesting by the fact that the co-chairmen of the board on both sides, they signed a very significant agreement. We're talking about an agreement between Cameco Corporation and Kazakh Atomprom. Cameco Corporation is already in short circuit for more than 20 years and has invested $500 million. And yesterday, we signed another agreement. This new agreement will raise it to a new level of cooperation between Kazakhstan and Canada. We believe that this cooperation will bring Kazakhstan to $2 billion in total. That is, you understand that this is a huge figure, but it is important that this cooperation is not only will expand cooperation within the two countries. The agreement provides for the possibility to introduce new technologies in Kazakhstan. That is, as you probably heard, Askar Jumagaliyev talked about the uranium product conversion in Kazakhstan. Because in this case, based on the needs on the uranium products, we need to explore the world experience when creating a case of producing the most advantageous product and bring the greatest return.
Урановую продукцию в мире, изучить необходимость, когда конкретно лучше всего создавать такое производство, чтобы оно было наиболее выгодным, приносило наибольшую отдачу.
The work of the Business Council was attended by representatives of more than 30 leading companies and heads of major Canadian corporations that are interested in investment, technology transfer, and cooperation in sectors such as construction, renewable energy, transport, infrastructure facilities, agriculture, and pharmaceuticals. Kazakhstan's business, presented by more than 70 companies engaged in agriculture, construction, oil and gas, and energy sectors.
Сравнительно молодая компания, всего нам 3 года. Мы на рынке дистанционного зондирования Земли или по-другому космической съемки находимся.
We are a relatively young company. We work in the market of remote sensing. It is also called aerospace photograph. But despite our young age, we have a lot of achievements. Our story actually began with the Kazakh land. We started on the progress of space, on spacecraft and progress cargo. Our cameras, our unique cameras, were delivered to the International Space Station, to the Russian segment, and they're here for 2 years running. Since then, we began our real cooperation with Kazakhstan. Now we have another 2 satellites, the same as in Kazakh and we are already working together, help each other to sell the products of these satellites, satellite images. And now we have started with the same company, Kazakh, a very large project. It is very unique. Our company project plans to launch in the near future a constellation of 16 satellites. This will be a pair of optical and radar satellites that no one, and I'm sure that in the next 7 to 8 years, no one will use. Because the product of this group is unique, and they're very much in demand by all major ministries, well, in virtually any country.
Продукты этой группировки будут уникальны, и они очень востребованы всеми основными министерствами, фактически в любой стране.
Kazakhstan has many similarities to Saskatchewan. You're, I believe, the 8th largest country in the world. We're the 2nd largest country in the world. Both countries have small population, and we have large tracts of land. So if you get reasonable moisture, you have good soil conditions, you've got ideal situation to see agriculture flourish. So there was in my mind, there's a real match between Kazakhstan and Canada. And so for us, we are looking for places where we can bring our equipment in. One of our seeding units will seed 4,000 hectares in a year. So you need large farms. Kazakhstan has large farms. And so for us, it's a very nice match. And we've found it relatively easy to do business in Kazakhstan to this point in time. We are in other countries in the region, and it's not always as easy. So, and your country just seems to be a bit more ahead of some of the others. So it's a logical spot for us to come.
Есть большой интерес по развитию инвестпроектов.
There is a great interest in the development of projects in agricultural engineering and the production of agricultural equipment, because Canadian businesses are very strong in that area. And we would like to invite investors from Canada to come to Kazakhstan to develop the corresponding segment. Also, we talk about the fact that Canadian business, thanks to the development of these enterprises in Kazakhstan, has an opportunity to go to Eurasian Economic Union countries. This market includes the Russian Federation, and we have close distance to the Chinese market and the countries of Central Asia. This is a big market for agricultural machines.
Это большой рынок для спроса на сельхозоборудование, сельхозтехнику.
After the plenary session, the Business Council meeting took place in 5 working groups, which discussed the prospects of development and to improve the investment attractiveness of industries such as oil and gas, mining, construction, transport, as well as innovation. The Kazakh Canadian companies presented their achievements, exchanging contacts, and discussed possibilities of further cooperation at an intersectoral level.
Необходимо использовать и другие формы сотрудничества для привлечения потенциальных партнеров со стороны Канады и наоборот.
It is necessary to use other forms of cooperation in order to attract potential partners from Canada and from Kazakhstan to Canada. I mentioned in my speech that last year the Embassy of Kazakhstan issued the Kazakhstan Canadian Business Directory. It was presented in a number of Canadian provinces. It is specifically designed for Canadian investors who are already working in Kazakhstan and will work in Kazakhstan, and it's good that it's online on the site of the Kazakhstan Embassy in Canada, and it is constantly updated. That is, you don't have to have a hard copy. You can at any moment turn to the updated version on the website of the Embassy of Kazakhstan in Canada and get all the necessary information in order to operate in the Kazakhstan market.
Обратиться к его обновленной версии на сайте посольства Казахстана в Канаде и получить всю необходимую для себя информацию для того, чтобы оперировать на казахстанском рынке.
Quickly in their business environment, and having that is important. They've also agreed to have a system through SERBA and through the Kazakhstan Chamber of International Commerce to provide an organizational platform that will meet on its own as well and also organize business events. So now we have an institutional framework for ongoing business arrangements that will then feed into the senior leadership of the council. And one of the things that they've agreed to do, which I'm particularly happy about, is they've agreed to provide an update to government at least once a year. So an update of their activities and what they've learned and what they've done. But I also hope that that will include some recommendations for where government can further support business development. So I think the framework that they developed is comprehensive, but it's also useful. And I hope that they can continue to develop that and fulfill it.
The sides also agreed on the principles of the Business Council and discussed the issues of creation of favorable conditions for further development of joint business projects in Kazakhstan and Canada. Participants of the meeting expressed their confidence in the correctness of the chosen direction and the need for further improvement of the interstate body.
Основная роль внешнеторговой палаты здесь заключается в том, что мы
The main role of the Chamber of Commerce, together with the Canadian partners, to be so-called secretariat. That is, we just coordinate and organize the work on the part of Kazakhstan and Canadian entrepreneurs. We collect all the problems that are raised. We're looking for all interested companies who wish to participate, and this is our goal to bring interaction with Canadian entrepreneurs and Kazakh entrepreneurs on the issue of the economy and trade cooperation between the two countries. And here we are, a Kazakh dialogue platform of the Council, and all the projects are discussed and practiced in order to bring them to Kazakhstan Canadian Business Council.
таковой казахстанской диалоговой площадкой со стороны этого совета, где все проекты обсуждаются и отрабатываются, чтобы в последующем вынести на Казахстан, на канадский деловой совет.
Well, you know, we've always said from the government perspective that we support the council, but it has to be business-led. So one, that for me, that's an important principle. The business leaders and the business communities of both countries are leading it, and certainly government will support. So they have a role, I think, to matchmake, to provide advice to government, which we always appreciate, and to look for ways that we can improve the relationship. So a regular meeting is an important part of that.
Following the meeting, Kazakhstan's Kazatomprom and the Canadian agreed to build a uranium refining plant in Uсть-Kamennogorsk. The agreement was reached on raising $50 million of investment in the construction of the first cartridge plant in Kazakhstan. In addition, Kazakhstan's party is interested in the project of the use of Canadian high-precision survey cameras used in the aerospace industry for the remote sensing of the Earth. You watch Global Talk. See you next time on Kazakh TV.